You want to go see this? There we go. What far is this? Okay. This is Chaz Says Anything, episode 35. We've got 35 episodes. Wow. A new dynasty is born. What's next? So if you like what you see or hear, click the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner. This is Chaz. I'm mostly cough-free. If you've seen the last two episodes, I have been coughing a little bit. Hopefully getting past it. And we're still, oh, there. Speaking of which, so the cough is back a little bit here. I'm getting better with it. I'm taking a Zypack thing, so that should help going forward. Now, what happened? Dynasty is born. What's next? What did we talk about first? Of course, Super Bowl 58 in Vegas. Kansas City comes back. They were down by 10 in the first half. And they tie the game and then win the game overall in overtime, 25-22 over San Francisco. I want to say this first. Yes, I did not pick San Francisco. I did not pick Kansas. I picked San Francisco. But I did pick one thing. I said this game was going into overtime. Nobody, not one analyst, not one person, anybody I know. Anybody I saw, nobody in the New York area said this game was going into overtime. I did. Look it up. I may have been wrong in the pick, but I was right. It was going into overtime. These two teams were too tough. It showed. The defense made this quote-unquote a boring game. Let me say this. In my opinion, it wasn't boring. It was entertaining to see two defenses go at each other, to take out two fairly prolific offenses. But that being said, Purdy didn't do enough to win this game. The offense didn't do enough. And credit to everybody who played on the Kansas City side, offense, defense, special teams. I'll go over it a little bit. That they were just better, flat out. Kansas City was better. Jesus Christ. Any Kansas City fan, I compliment you. You stuck with your team, even the fair weather ones. Anyway, so. This game played out a little differently than most people thought. I think there was one person on CBS that actually had them around that score. So, let me go over a little highlights. I did write down a few things. Let me go to the coin flip was heads. Obviously, the prop bets were a big thing, obviously. So the coin flip was heads, and San Francisco received first. But if I remember correctly, that first drive was a fumble by McCaffrey. So McCaffrey fumbles, they get the ball back. Like I said, it goes on and on for a while. Well, first quarter score was 0-0. Yeah, I haven't had too many 0-0s. Honestly, it was 10-0. So the first quarter score was 0-0. Halftime, San Francisco ends up scoring on a trick play, so they take the lead 10-3. Let me see if I can find the trick play. I wrote it down. A lot of commercials here, which I'll get to. Yeah. I know it's somebody, but anyway. That trick play, basically, 3 points for Kansas City. Kansas City did not look good. everybody on social media, you can tell Kansas City fans were either not saying anything or biding their time. It was pretty bad. Now, I'll read to you what a few with this NFL, their NFL.com. They have a guy who basically analyzed this game. So, and I did what he says here. I was going to say, this is the reason, in my opinion, why San Francisco lost this game. One person who got injured, and they couldn't come back from it. Dre Greenlaw, number 57 on the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, they got Bosa. Yes, they got Chase Young. Greenlaw was their catalyst. Greenlaw was their battery. Him getting hurt, just walking on the field in the second quarter, I think put them in a bit of a. It wasn't visible, but you could tell. The defense was only holding so much. The defensive backs could only do so much. So when Greenlaw was gone for the game, Kelce kind of started playing better. Interestingly, that's why Kelce, I think, got the balls thrown to him more, because Greenlaw was not in. That's probably more key than anything else. So Rasheed Rice, I got the big third down, and then obviously we know what happened at the end. McCall Hardman got that game-winning touchdown at the end. Now, getting to that point near the end, that was tricky. I remember watching, thinking, I knew he was going to do it. I absolutely knew he was going to do it. But I was hoping not. I really wanted San Francisco to win for multiple reasons. And it did not come to fruition. And congrats to them. Like I said, 25-22, not a normal number, 5-2. And quick note to everybody who was in my boxes: money is coming. Some people got paid already. Other people will get paid. It's a matter of I not want to jostle my account. Okay, so people will get paid. But a lot of big numbers. For 5-2. And think of this. Where is it? Halftime was a bigger number more than ending with the 3-0. That happened twice. So third quarter, same number, same for the same box. So that box hit on every box for whoever's in that box. Good for them. So let's see. So there's a few things that came out of this game. Let's talk about that a little bit. So Kelce's outburst. I need to bring this up because nobody's talking about it. Yes, because they won, it gets pushed under the rug. I'm taking it out of the rug. Kelce's outburst again, Coach Reed on the sideline. Honestly, I'm shocked Coach Reed didn't bench him for a quarter or something. I get what he said. Coach put me in. But the way he said it, and I tell you, the way it looked on TV, the fact that they won is the reason this is not being talked about. But from what I understand, and I don't quote me because I'm hearing, I see a lot on Twitter, I see a lot on Facebook. Apparently, Swifties had an issue with this, and I'm not surprisingly not. Of course, you don't want the boyfriend of Taylor Swift to have a rage. But honestly, if you think about it, this is what they do. They have this high rage when they're on the field. The thing is, somebody should have seen this, and nobody did. Kelce should have been benched in some realm. And actually, if you bench him in the second quarter and then you bring him back, he's fresh. That would have made more sense. He would have calmed down enough that he could be fresh in the head to do what he had to do. He needs to be talked about more going forward. you can't blow up at your coach. If you're Travis Kelce or the number 53 guy on the team, you can't do it. Like a coach can do it. I talked to a couple of guys at work today about this. The coach can do this to an extent. Verbally get in your face and scream at you for something you messed up, or whatever. That's fine on the field of play. But grabbing your coach, and I'm sorry, I was grabbing him because I didn't want him to fall. Well, you shouldn't have bum rushed him in the first place. I'm sorry, don't just. It's something you have to know not to do. You're his buddy. You're his friend. You're the longest chief on this team. That doesn't give you the right to do that. I can't say I would have ever done that. I know too well how bad that looks. To know not to do that. You know, and the fact that there was no apology to the coach, to Coach Reed. I get you won. You're happy. You're ecstatic. Was there an apology? I've yet to hear one. All right, so let me get down here. So Kyle Shanahan, 49ers come up shy again, right? So Kyle Shanahan's lost before in the Super Bowl. They highlighted this in Atlanta when he was the assistant coach there against the Patriots, if I'm correct. So now, this is the first overtime they've had with the new rules. Okay? They explained this, I thought, well enough on CBS, which means they explained it, or should have explained it, to every player on both sides of the field. To hear that nobody, or fairly nobody, knew the rules? Come on. You play this game as your job. You should know the rules of your job. To not know the rules means you don't know how you're playing or what you're playing. This is brokered under CBA rules for the NFL and the NFLPA that they do this. I mean, that stuff is done months, if not years, in advance. I think, from what I understand, they implemented this last year. They had this rule last year. It didn't go to an overtime, so they didn't need to use it. This year, it did. The teams were that good, it did. But for nobody to know it, the coach said the coach, from what I heard, he didn't say it incorrectly. It just didn't work out for him. If he had scored a touchdown first, the Kansas City Chiefs would have got the ball to score a touchdown to tie. If they didn't score that touchdown, and this is all hypothetical, if they did not score that touchdown, then San Francisco would win. Period. Now, people are saying, oh, well, Shanahan should have deferred. Okay. Same rules apply. If Kansas City would have scored, San Francisco would have had to score a touchdown. Same rules apply. And if both those things happen, you continue. How hard is that to understand? Yes, I get it. Oh, but we played in the regular season. You're not in the regular season. You're playing in Super Bowl 58. You need to prepare. This is probably why you don't have Media Monday. And I'm going to say, these guys get so screwed up in the head from Media Monday that they're answering stupid questions on their dais that they're on. Maybe they're forgetful. Surprise, surprise. People are. That's why I have this. People are forgetful. But when Jim Nantz and Tony Romo explained it to the viewers on CBS, it was pretty clear. And I'm writing stuff down. Like, Beth thought I was crazy with all this writing of what I was doing down. I'm writing because I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know what I'm talking about. But for them not to know, I'm sorry. It's unacceptable. These guys got to know. The coach has to know. You're the coach of a team that there are only 32 of. You need to know your role. I don't understand why Shanahan didn't know. I don't. It's a joke. I'm not saying he should be fired. I mean, it's a little too far. But the fact that this just came out like, I didn't know. That's what it sounds like to me. They obviously Goofy was Goofy on the sideline. No, he wasn't. It was Kyle Shanahan. I'm sorry, you just got to know. All right, so what else is here? What did happen and should talk about during the game, and I completely blew over, and I shouldn't have. It was a kicker festival during this Super Bowl. Well, there wasn't just one kick that was a record. There was two. Jake Moody kicks a 55-yard field goal, sets the record, and then Butker, what was it? It was third quarter. He kicked Harrison Butker kicked a 57-yard field goal to take that record. That's insane. That happened in a Super Bowl. The same one. That stuff doesn't happen in one, let alone 1 out of every 10. This was a pretty good Super Bowl. I get it was boring. If you were looking for excitement, if you were looking for what I said was going to be a 34-31 overtime game, it didn't happen. Not every game is a barn burner or a barnstormer. It's not. It's not 49-48 all the time. And if Giants fans remember that game, they know what I'm talking about. 49-48, they lost down in New Orleans in the regular season game against Drew Brees with Eli Manning. You don't always get those games. You're going to get the games that are 25-22. They're going to be 20-17. Or no, not even 20-19. Super Bowl 25. The Giants beat the Bills with the kick goes wide right. Sorry, Bills fans. I do apologize on that, but I really don't. Not sorry thing. Giants won their first Super Bowl ever on that missed kick in a very run-centric game. Joe Morris and O.J. Anderson. I mean, they were running the ball. This is the kind of game that was. Pacheco was stopped for a while. He did kind of gain some ground, but who was the rushing guy? It was Patrick Mahomes. So that's why he was the Super Bowl MVP. Not only did he throw, he ran. And they weren't planned runs. This is why Mahomes is, if he continues on this trajectory, will be the GOAT at some point. To call him the GOAT now is silly. He's on a trajectory to be better than Brady. He's just done this in 6-7 years. Let's get the one thing he's done better than Brady, and it's been talked about. He's had a better first 6 years than Brady had. If I'm correct, there's a lot of quarterbacks that have first 6 years better than Brady had. Other than Brady did have 2 Super Bowl wins under his belt. But numbers-wise, Brady didn't have the numbers as other people did. Mahomes has had that. This is why he's the highest paid quarterback. Everybody else that becomes a free agent should not be more than him. He's earned it. He deserves it. You hear this all the time in WWE. When the crowd starts saying, for whatever reason, you deserve it, blah, 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 blah. This is what Mahomes deserves it. To say anybody else is better than him, they need to prove it right now. Josh Allen. Who am I forgetting? Cincinnati. So Cincinnati and Baltimore's quarterback. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. The top quarterbacks now are not Patrick Mahomes. And it's as simple as that. They're just not. And I'll get to more on that in a little bit. I do have something on that. But to bear back to the overtime rules, like I said, this is your job to know. Learn it, love it, do it. Period. So, what? Okay, I have this down, but let's talk about this first before I. Yes, Usher got married after the Super Bowl, but let's talk about the halftime show. I didn't write that in. I should have. To everybody that likes Usher, will appreciate what I have to say. I think he was good. I don't think it was his best performance. It was close to. And I really don't think it was the best Super Bowl performance. Now, to the haters or the people that don't like Usher, understand this. This is the songs he sings. Him with Alicia Keys. Him with, doing OMG or Yeah. These are his songs. The people he collaborated with, Ludacris, Lil Jon, and someone else was there. I forget. Excuse me. I mean, the songs and it was entertaining. It's supposed to be entertaining. They don't put bad shows on. The NFL goes over this. I mean, you got to think that the NFL goes over this for a long time. And they've gotten better over the years. Was this the best? Probably not. They could have done. There could have been a better show. There could have been someone better who was in the audience, and I'm not talking about Taylor. Not talking about Taylor. Not yet. But I mean. And I know Beyonce's been up there before. Beyonce's been good. I think Beyonce, her halftime show was better than Usher's. But to the haters who didn't like Usher or don't like Usher or I mean, if you didn't like what you saw from the beginning, you could have turned it off and come back in less than 30 minutes. It was only a 15 or 16-minute show. But to say, I'd rather have Reba, or I'd have, maybe Reba can do it next year, or this person, maybe Jelly Roll will come on next year. Okay, maybe, but it was entertaining. That's what they're there for, entertainment. If that's not your entertainment, then turn it off. I don't think they'll be upset if you did, because other people did enjoy it. And now, to this, Usher got married after the Super. I woke up to this on Monday morning. That's a very random thing that the singer, from your halftime show got married, and of course it's in Las Vegas. I mean, I'm not really surprised, especially if you saw all the parties that happened that night. So congratulations, Usher. Got married. Congratulations. But like Taylor Swift and Travis and Pat Mahomes hanging out, it's multiple clubs that night. Via TMZ and everything else, everybody else that was there. That was pretty interesting. They were from reports. They were out till 5:30 in the morning at Pacific time. So I was at work while they were still partying on Monday morning. at 7:00 a.m. That's insane. All right. Excuse me. The accelerator is getting a little action. Anyway, so next item on the banners. Best Super Bowl 58 commercials. Got to talk about this. So we started off with two movies that are upcoming, which I will talk about down the road because they look both very interesting. And if you have kids, these are major movies. Kung Fu Panda 4 and Despicable Me 4. My only issue with Kung Fu Panda 4, say that 5 times fast, is the line that the three, I think they're rabbits, have. And do you really want your kids repeating this? Okay, I'll sing it because it's kind of funny. Violence, we love in our hearts. I'm might be misquoting. It's violent. They start with the word violence. Violence is in our hearts. Violence is in our soul. I forget the actual line, but they say this. And if a kid picks it up, that's very interesting. But that's my only take on that. I mean, I love Kung Fu Panda. I love Despicable Me. They're fun movies for the kids, and there is adult humor. So those would be interesting to talk about. Let's see, Post Malone, America the Beautiful, Reba McEntire. Should have talked about it. But both America the Beautiful and National Anthem were done very well. Post Malone did an amazing acoustic version. I think it was acoustic. I think he had an acoustic. Let's see, there's nothing else in here. So get rid of that. All right. So let's see what was next. TurboTax. Okay. Gronk missed a kick. You had a Gronk missed a kick. That's Wicked. Okay. Next movie that came out was Wicked. That looks good. I have yet to see the Broadway play. I probably will never see it. That's fine. But I want to see that movie. There's a lot of stars in it. I'll talk about that down the road. I will definitely put that up on the banner board at some point. The M&M commercial, not a big fan. I'm not. It seemed too rushed. I guess that's my opinion on that. Oh, forgot this movie, Deadpool 3. That's another one we're going to talk about down the road. And then another movie. There was a lot of movie commercials, and I guess it's the time to do it. So, it got me excited because I'm not a big fan of this genre of film. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That could be interesting coming out May 10th. Now, I'll talk about. There's something I want to talk about, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. There's another commercial. Mountain Dew. I wasn't a fan of it. I mean, it was funny, but it wasn't that great. Lindor, Kawasaki, Popeyes with Ken Jeong. That was funny. I'll give Ken Jeong, that was funny. ApartmentNet.com was intriguing. ApartmentNet.com had a very Independence Day reference. If you didn't see it and you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out. It was a very smart commercial, if you know what I mean. Chris Pratt doing Pringles, not great. Michelob with Messi, Ted Lasso, and Dan Marino. That was the one that was supposed to be the big one. I thought it was good. I don't think it was the best. I'll get to the best. In my opinion, the best. Ice Spice, if you know who she is, where did I see it? Starry, the drink. Michael Cera for CeraVe. That was interesting. Another smart thinker type commercial. Very smart. Commercial for the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2024. That was pretty cool. Usher Christopher. Okay, this is another one. Christopher Walken and everybody talking like Christopher Walken. I can't do it. I'm not. I can do impersonations. Christopher Walken is not one of them. He talks like this a little bit. I mean, you guys tell me if that would sound like him. I really don't think so, but who knows? And then Usher, who's in it. Oh yeah, I got to be somewhere, and he's got to go to the Super Bowl. Okay, that's page 1. Tina Fey, Booking.com. That wasn't great. Twisters movie. A Twisters movie coming out. Wow. Another Twister. That's going to be cool. That's going to be cool. So, and I shouldn't put this in the commercials, but I'm going to because I didn't talk about it. Did we really have to have Taylor Swift beyond the broadcast 12 or 13 times? It was nauseating to the end. Funny, some of them, because one which was doing this, biting her nails. But 12 times, 15 overall that I counted. Yes, I counted. It was. I had the people that were in the room kind of annoyed that I kept saying Taylor, yeah, so I could do the count. T-Mobile was pretty good. That was the Momoa one with the guys from Scrubs. It was pretty good. Coors Light with LL Cool J. So Royal commercial stunk. Bad. Hellman's with the cat meow was intriguing. And it might be just because I'm a cat person. But that was intriguing. UFO for Squarespace. Paramount Plus for Halo movie. Bass Tracker for Bass Pro Shops, if anybody's into that. That was a pretty big deal commercial. Google AI. Robert Kennedy Jr. This was an interesting one. Robert Kennedy Jr. for president. If you didn't see the commercial, take a look. I don't know if the guy's running or not. If you think about it, if he is running, he's at least 20 years younger than the other two guys. But that's an interesting one. Something called Poppy Soda as well was another one. Duolingo, whatever that is. And that was all first half. Second half. NFL Africa. Paramount Mountain, that they've done that Paramount Mountain God knows how many times if you watch Paramount. Couch Potato for Pluto TV. That was pretty cool. It was pretty ingenious, honestly. But definitely not number one. Do I have number one? Don't I write it down? How did I forget writing that down? Well, I think this happened beforehand, but I'm going to say my number one. My number one is the Dunkin' Donuts Dunkin' commercial with Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Matt Damon, Tom Brady, and some other singer, Jack Harlow. I think a lot of people know him. I don't. So he did that. They did that. I thought that was great. And from what I understand, it's brought in a lot of business for Dunkin' Donuts, or Dunkin' as they're called now. Sorry. That's pretty good for them, and good on them to take that risk with all those players to hopefully be good enough and spend that much money for that spot. I think they hit on that. I absolutely think they hit on that. Beyonce's for Lemonade Stand was a little cheesy, but I'm not the biggest Beyonce fan as much as I used to be. Let's see, Pfizer commercial. Did Mr. Fahrenheit. That was pretty interesting. I like that song, Mr. Fahrenheit, by Queen. Tony Romo and Mr. T doing Skechers. That might not have been the greatest one, but that was fun. That was funny. That's definitely up there. They did a Toyota Tacoma commercial. Bud Light Genie, the Bud Light Genie, that's back. Okay. The Doritos commercial was close. This was up there, and maybe it's because I'm a little bit of a fanboy or fan man for Jenna Ortega. She did something called Dynamita Doritos. That's a little too spicy for me, but I think that was pretty good. Volkswagen commercial. There were 3 or 4 Homes.com commercials. Interesting. So that's that they were spending big time money to get 4 commercials on. Another movie, If. That's a fun movie with Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, and a couple other people in that movie. That'll be coming up soon enough. Now my kids love this. It's a drumstick. So the drumstick had a commercial with Eric Andre. So he's a bit of a harder comic, but they had him crying, which was kind of funny. So that was okay. That wasn't too bad. I'm trying to see if there's a. They had the Clydesdales again. Good for Budweiser doing the Clydesdales. T-Mobile, that's the Momoa. So there was multiple T-Mobiles. So that's Momoa. Momoa was in the third quarter. Did I have another one? Yes, I did. Okay, the worst one, DoorDash. That was the most annoying one, in my opinion. And the last commercial, because it was an overtime that they planned, was a movie called Monkey Man. That looks interesting, I gotta say. That does look interesting. So those movies we'll talk about down the road. I'm sure I'll put them up, and maybe I can get a trailer on here. I doubt it. You got to see how to work that. All right, the one I want to talk about though, Jesus and Scientology. Can we? Obviously, I don't think I've talked about it. I grew up Catholic. I don't go now, but I grew up Catholic. I do have beliefs. And I get the Jesus one. I do. I'm not oblivious to it. There was one that kind of got to me, which was with Mark Wahlberg. If I can see that. There we go. Mark Wahlberg for Lent. They did a commercial for Lent. Never seen that before. Good for them. And then there was a Jesus, there's apparently like a Jesus.com or something. And then you see Scientology. And they did it twice because they did it one in overtime just because they had to put something there. Apparently. And Scientology became that go-to commercial. Funny thing with the Scientology is you didn't see the two guys out of the big kahunas that are actors that you think would be promoting Scientology. Tom Cruise and John Travolta. You had them promoting their buildings, or how grand they look, wherever they're located. I don't know, and everything I know about Scientology, I'm not a fan of. But if you are, so be it. That's your choice. But just for me, I don't believe in that quote-unquote religion. I do have my more Catholic faith that I deal with. And Jesus, it was different. And if the commercial, the first commercial that kind of set everybody back in the room I was in, and we all grew up Catholic, even though some are not Catholic anymore, Kevin. Anyway, so it was the washing of the feet. And there's a Bible verse about washing of the feet, and it's in the New Testament for anybody who doesn't know. And it's Jesus washing the feet of people, that are not clean, I guess. And the Pharisees were asking, or I think it was I think I'm saying it right. The Pharisees were asking, "Why are you cleaning their feet if you claim yourself to be the Son of God?" And he's like, "They're no better than me." I'm paraphrasing, of course. So I found it interesting that, we're going throughout the whole spectrum on commercials, this way, that way, up, down. Very interesting. So with the end of the Super Bowl, that means the end of the 2023-2024 season. Now we have the 2024 NFL Draft Order. Dun, da, da, da. The first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft goes to the Carolina Panthers via the Chicago Bears. Oh my God, I slipped. So the Bears get the pick, but the pick is from. Oh, I'm sorry. Reverse. The Chicago Bears have the first pick, acquired from the Carolina Panthers. So the Panthers' record was 2-15. The Bears' biggest need is inside offensive line, wide receiver, tight end, edge, and cornerback. funny. There's a quarterback that's probably going to go number one. Does that mean they trade their quarterback and take one of the quarterbacks coming out? We'll see. Number 2, Washington Commanders, 4-13. Biggest needs: quarterback, edge rusher, wide receiver, inside linebacker, and linebacker. IOL, I think that's in that. Yeah, IOL is inside. IOL is inside offensive line. So, my bad. Bears' biggest need is inside offensive line. But the biggest need is quarterback, edge, wide receiver, inside offensive line, and linebacker for the Commanders. Now, they do need a quarterback. They got a good, decent one. I don't know if any of the other quarterbacks coming out are better than the decent one that Washington has, which means who's the edge guy, who's the wide receiver, who's the inside linebacker, or inside lineman, and who's the linebacker that is the best to go number 2. And that scares me because there's a wide receiver that Marvin Harrison Jr., that I want at number 6. I don't know if he's going to fall that far. Here we go. Number 3. Another team that needs another quarterback. The New England Patriots. They absolutely need a quarterback. So whatever quarterback is not off the board probably will be. So they'll have 3 or 4 to choose from. So, and it's sorry, brain fart. I forgot who the coach is for New England. Obviously with Belichick on, I don't even know who the GM is. So someone new is taking this position and probably taking a quarterback, but they also need a tight end, an offensive tackle, a wide receiver, and a running back. Any Patriots fan will agree on that, I have no doubt. Cardinals, number 4. Their biggest need, shockingly, not a quarterback. Wide receiver, defensive tackle, inside line, edge, and cornerback. That inside line is going to be big for all those top teams, for the simple fact that they got to protect their quarterback. And almost every single one hasn't. Number 5, the newly minted, with one of the best college coaches, Jim Harbaugh, the Los Angeles Chargers, who definitely don't need a quarterback. So they will take the top, either cornerback, running back. Well, okay, they're probably not taking the top running back, not at 5. Saquon Barkley has become the reason that most teams will not take a quarterback number 2 anymore, 3 or 4, and definitely 5. If you're going to take a quarterback, it's probably going to be 10 or lower. From now on, at least for now. A defensive tackle, tight end, or center. So DT or center, whoever the top one is, or corner. If you can get a corner, Jalen Ramsey and a couple other people have been in the 4, 5, 6 range. Could happen. Now, the New York Giants. Who could we possibly take? So they're saying, this guy is saying, we need a defensive tackle, a running back, an inside offensive line, an edge rusher, and a cornerback. I don't disagree on the running back, because even if we keep Saquon, that's Frida. He's got to go. I'm done with him. He did not show anything this year. Bad line or not, he didn't show anything. Barkley at least did. So hopefully we bring him back. So what we need at 6 is they don't even have a wide receiver runner. And I think that's a must for me. But if Marvin Harrison is gone, there's no need to go for wide receiver. At least I don't think so. But a DT, which would be good, a young DT, to solidify that defense. But my biggest fear on an inside offensive line is we've done bad on the outside offensive line. So now we need an inside offensive line. We'll talk about this more with the Giants going down the road. I mean, this is April. I'll only do top 10. Number 7, Tennessee Titans. Offensive tackle, they need cornerback, wide receiver, edge, running back. And this is assuming Derrick Henry has played his last down in Tennessee. We'll see if he ends up somewhere else. Cross my fingers. I'd pick him up in a heartbeat. You put Derrick Henry with Saquon Barkley as a 1-2. I mean, you don't have to pay Derrick Henry as much. If you want to drop Saquon and bring in Derrick Henry and then get well, I can do that too. I love Barkley, but Derrick Henry, he's still got it. I know he's still got it. He just got to get behind the right line. So they might need a running back. I mean, hell, Saquon could go there, but who knows? Something's possible. But offensive tackle and cornerback. So he's not on tonight, but my Atlanta Falcons fan is number 8. Start today, Falcons fan. You're the 8th pick of the draft, and your biggest need, and your first biggest need, no doubt. I think you'd agree with this. Start today is quarterback. You don't have a good one, you need a good one, and you need a wide receiver so you can complement Bijan Robinson. Edge, cornerback, and defensive tackle. Now the Bears, we've already talked about, they have the 9th pick as well. And number 10, another local team, the New York Jets. They'll still have the coach and the GM. They're still there. The Jets, once again, and Aaron Rodgers should be healthy, so that should be a thing. Now, Aaron Rodgers should be back. Zach Wilson expected to be moved. So they're going to need a serious backup quarterback. I don't think they're drafting one at 10. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're drafting one. I think they're bringing one in. Yeah, I could see the Jets bringing in Tommy Cutlets. Honestly, I can see it. He played well enough in that stadium. You put Tommy Cutlets in a Jet uniform, I think it's a good thing. Just putting it out there, Tommy Cutlets over Zach Wilson. I think people will agree. All right, let's see. I don't think there's any other crazy ones. Seattle got a new coach. They're 16th. Well, I think Pittsburgh might have to change this because it says biggest needs CB, OT, IOL, linebacker, and DT. I think their biggest need is quarterback, and I'll talk about that next. Miami Dolphins 21, Eagles 22. Eagles, Beth is going to like this, and I might have to follow this guy now, is, with fantasy football. I had this guy, and he did well for me, even though as a team I didn't do well. DeAndre Swift might find a new home in March. He's a free agent. Hopefully Beth doesn't hear this. But Howard Roseman will likely look for a running back on day 2 of the draft. That won't be a surprise. There will be running backs that can fall into this if DeAndre Swift is gone. I'll take DeAndre Swift. Bring him on the Giants. So yeah, I don't want Derrick Henry. You give me Derrick Henry and DeAndre Swift over Saquon. Will the numbers be the same? 2 for 1. Give me DeAndre. Give me Derrick. Bye Saquon. I don't like saying it. It kind of hurts. But the possibility, if that could be a possibility of DeAndre and Derrick, I hope people see this. That I'm saying this. This is an interesting, intriguing possibility that the Giants could actually possibly do, and hopefully nobody else does. Okay, Houston, pick a player from the Browns. Okay, that's a different one. Number 23. Dallas at 24. Green Bay at 25. Tampa at 26. Why does Tampa need a quarterback? Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers have mutual interest in his return after a successful first season. I guess they need a backup, but you're going to get a backup at 24? I don't like that. If you're going to if you're that far down, get the quarterback either in free agency or wait till the second or third. That's too high of a pick. And if you're going to get the top quarterback, get him a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But 24, we've seen, the only good pick now at 26. I don't remember other quarterbacks. I remember a quarterback at 28. that was a great quarterback. That great quarterback's name is Dan Marino. Didn't win a Super Bowl, but was one of the greatest non-Super Bowl winning quarterbacks ever. He might be the best non-winning Super Bowl. That'd be a list I could figure out. Probably the best non-winning Super Bowl quarterback ever. But Tampa Bay, I wouldn't do that. I go wide receiver, I go edge if I'm Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's not that far away to do something in the next round. They lost to Dallas, or no, they beat Dallas. Whatever they did, I forget what they did. They beat Dallas, I think. Number 28. No, wait, is that 20? 27. Arizona picks from Houston. Okay, Buffalo. First time in a long time you think Detroit down here. 29. And the first thing they needed, is probably a cornerback. They need someone to stop anybody and everybody going by him. Is they got the good line on defense. They need that backup to do it. Number 30, Baltimore. 31, San Francisco. 32, Kansas City. Now, what does Kansas City need besides another superstar to date one of their guys? They need a defensive tackle. They need a wide receiver. They need an offensive tackle. They need a CB. They need a cornerback. I'm sorry. And a running back. Do they really need a running back? They got two already. You got Isaiah and you got Reese. I think his name is Reese. Rashad Rice. He does do routes for wide receiver, but he's a running back. You got two already. I don't think that's necessary. DT and WR, you need a better wide receiver core. You can't have Kelce and then everybody else. You got to have a couple other guys. I mean, Kelce, for all intents and purposes, is an A or an A+, although he doesn't act it sometimes. But you don't have even a B wide receiver, and that's a problem. So that could be. I mean, they got a good cornerback. They say potential. Sorry, they say potential. Losses of Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed. See, I'm not good with potential until you actually lose them, because some of these two players, you think they want to leave a team that went back-to-back Super Bowls, and that's why I never said that, because everybody knows it. I don't need to regurgitate it. Why would you leave a team or want to leave a team unless it's money issue that just won back-to-back Super Bowls, when you're good enough to probably try for a third? And then the only team that doesn't have a first-round pick, because obviously they traded out, was Carolina Panthers, who need an edge rusher, wide receiver, linebacker, inside offensive lineman, and a CB, and everybody else in between. They need a lot. The only thing they don't need is a quarterback. They got Bryce Young, but inside of offensive line, I think needs to be pushed up to 1. So whatever pick they got, which is probably 33. Oh, Cleveland doesn't have one either. That's interesting. So, but Carolina, they need an offensive line like you wouldn't believe. But to say that they need a wide receiver, maybe a linebacker, maybe an edge, maybe the edge is the first. That's interesting. Are they that lacking in the edge that they need that? And Cleveland, I think, offensive tackle should probably be number 1. Where's their quarterback? Not Kareem Hunt. There's no quarterback on here. He's on the list in 2017, so I'll see that. Wait, let's see if I can see it. Deshaun Watson. That's who it is. Deshaun Watson is their quarterback. He got hurt because of the offensive line. So OT should probably be up first, but that's just my opinion. All right, that's the draft order for 2024. Let's go this. So, Mitch Trubisky cut from the Steelers. So, for those that don't know, Mitch Trubisky was in the 2017 draft. Okay? Why this is important that he got cut from the Steelers? He was picked second by Chicago. Mitchell Trubisky. Who was picked 10th? And they traded up to do so. Patrick Mahomes. 3-time Super Bowl MVP. 3-time MVP. God knows how many yards he has already in 6 years. And this man's been cut from 3 teams. And we have more than likely will be on his 4th team next year. How do teams miss a guy like Patrick Mahomes? I don't understand it. I mean, here's the people picked before Patrick Mahomes. Myles Garrett, number 1. Not a horrible pick. He's a damn good player for Cleveland. Might actually win a Super Bowl possibly one day if they can figure things out. Mitchell Trubisky, 2. Chicago. Don't pick a quarterback this year. Or if you do, make sure you got the right one. Because they got the number 1 pick, so they're not 2 now, they're number 1. What quarterback are they going to pick? We'll go over that in a couple weeks. Number 3, Solomon Thomas. Does this guy even play anymore? Defensive end from San Francisco? He might. I don't know. It doesn't ring a bell. Number 4, running back Leonard Fournette, who was drafted by Jacksonville, who is now in Tampa Bay, although he may not be there anymore. Number 5, Corey Davis, Tennessee. Don't think he's there anymore. Number 6, he's not with the team was drafted by. Number 6 was Jamal Adams, drafted by the Jets. Traded to Seattle later, 3-4 years later? So that was kind of a bust. Number 7, Mike Williams, wide receiver, Los Angeles Chargers, now Los Angeles Chargers. Not a complete bust, but he's not obviously Patrick Mahomes. Number 8 might be the pass, because I might even have said if you do this top 10, number 8 is number 2, and Patrick could be number 3, although he probably should be number 1. Number 8 is Christian McCaffrey, the man who can do a lot of things. So the Jets passed on McCaffrey, and the Jets passed on Mahomes. I know that GM isn't there anymore; it's a new GM. But that GM did not see Christian McCaffrey and did not see Patrick Mahomes. How did you miss that? You obviously couldn't get Thomas. You couldn't get Garrett. You couldn't get Fournette. Fournette, for all intents and purposes, is probably better than Saquon Barkley for the simple fact he's not as injury prone. He's been injured, but not as much as Saquon. So Fournette going 4 and Saquon going 2, I mean, it's not as bad. But McCaffrey going 8, and he's had his issues with injury. But McCaffrey is a lightning bolt comparatively to any other running back out there. How did anybody who's a professional scout, I couldn't think of the word, not see this? Number 9, John Ross, whoever that is, wide receiver for Cincinnati. I don't think he's playing anywhere anymore. And then number 10, Kansas. Kansas City picked Patrick Mahomes. I mean, really good players, too, behind him as well. I mean, so top teams missed a lot of good players. Number 11, Marshawn Lattimore. Very, very good cornerback. Number 12, he's been a little, riddled in the public eye. Deshaun Watson was 12. If he goes to New York, if he goes to Jacksonville, if he goes to Chicago, is he in the same boat as he is in Houston? Who knows? Number 13 is not on that team either. He's on the team below him and a teammate of this guy's. Number 13, Hassan Reddick, if I'm correct, is on the Philadelphia Eagles with Derek Barnett. So Philadelphia Eagles have a back-to-back with Hassan Reddick and Derek Barnett. Indiana, 15, picked Malik Hooker. He still plays. He's a decent safety. Other names, O.J. Howard, Tampa. I don't think he's playing anymore, but he was good for a while. the name I remember, number 23 pick, Evan Ingram, and now with Jacksonville. Jabril Peppers, I think he's somewhere else. He's not in Cleveland anymore. Taco Charlton, he might still be in Dallas. TJ Watt with Pittsburgh, he's number 30 was TJ Watt, who's probably right now, 6 years later, one of the best defensive players in the game right now. Number 30 pick. How many teams missed an outside linebacker? Miami picked somebody else as an outside linebacker. Only one team picked an outside linebacker different. Wow, that's amazing. Let's see, second round, any big names? Joe Mixon, running back, Cincinnati. Okay, Dalvin Cook, he's pretty much gone. Zay Jones, can't stay healthy, but he was second round. Buda Baker, safety, he's a good safety. Let's see. Zach Cunningham, linebacker out of Houston. Yeah, I do remember that name. Cooper Kupp. I might have talked about this before, because I know I've talked about Cooper Kupp being third round before. So nobody looks at Eastern Washington, I guess. But Cooper Kupp, Giants drafted a DT and a tight end. So you're telling me we didn't look at Cooper Kupp? Who did we get third round? Let's see. Davis Webb, quarterback. Yeah, that worked out well. Davis Webb, quarterback. We can't draft a quarterback in the third round unless we know who we're talking about. That was a bad pick. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anybody else. Kareem Hunt, okay, Kansas City, and he's not with Kansas City anymore. CJ Beathard, quarterback, San Francisco. We've seen him before. He's actually a decent backup quarterback wherever he's at. James Conner, Terminator, got drafted by Pittsburgh, running back, third round, pick 105. Let's see. What's the next year? Hold on, let me go to 7. No, okay. So apparently quarterbacks are the Mr. Irrelevance of their years. Chad Kelly got drafted to Denver as Mr. Irrelevant. Let's see. What's this say? What's T.O.? I don't even know what this is. Last year played. Okay. So if you go to the last, so some guys didn't even play. Chad Kelly actually played a year. He ended up not playing after 2018. So that's how you can tell if they're playing anymore. Okay, so let me go back to the first round real quick. Oh no, everybody played. Okay, Reuben Foster's the only one. First rounder. He was a bust for San Francisco. Last year he played was 2018. Interesting. Everybody else is at least 2021. Very interesting. Okay. So let's get off of this. Do want to talk about this. I don't have something to work off of, but I can talk about it. New York Knicks lose in a bad way last night, and worse feelings after the game was over. Probably talk about this down the road. But the referees need to figure this out. And I was talking about this a little bit today. So it might be all off base with the Knicks necessarily. And this hopefully will get figured out because I did read just before we went on that the Knicks are now filing a complaint, a protest for this game. And good for them. I don't know what it's going to do. It's not going to give them a win. I don't think it's going to be the protest back in 1981 where Kansas City Royals protested the bat with George Brett. And then they got to play that game again, and the Royals actually did win that game. I don't think the Knicks would be able to go back, have the game tied, and go into overtime. I doubt that'll happen. I'd love that to happen. Now, that would be a story. I don't know. I don't think that'll happen. But to talk about officials in general, football, basketball, and hockey are fast-moving sports. You need a better way to implement the going to look at instant replay. You can't have one challenge for a whole game. That's stupid. There needs to be a better way, and they need to figure it out sooner than later. Now, I have a new possibility for baseball. Now, hear me out. Baseball currently has 4 umpires: home plate, first base, second base, third base. In the playoffs, they have left field and right field. They've been doing that for years. You know what? Let's do that all year round. Why not? Left field and right field umpires 162 games a year. You're adding umpires. So you're adding people to your payroll. You can easily see that 90 to 99% of home run calls that need video replay will be not needed if you have these 2 umpires at their designated positions on an everyday basis. I don't see a problem with this. Why can't Major League Baseball think about this before I do? Who knows? Maybe they did and they never liked it. But I love this. And even add a 7th that comes to the field. That's part of the crew. Just in case one has to leave for an injury. We've seen that before. Where home plate umpire gets hurt. Or the first plate umpire gets hit by a ball. It happens. Have a spare umpire. Put him in the replay booth. And so, I mean, these are creative things that can be done to eliminate replays in baseball. I'd still keep the one challenge here or there, or and you get another challenge if you win before the 7th inning. That's all fine. That can stay. But put those 2 in the left and right field for every game. I think it's a great idea. I need people to see this. An hour and 7 minutes in, I need people to see this. Put a left and right field umpire in baseball for 162. Okay, so WWE Elimination Chamber matches have been set, at least a few of them, and ones are coming to fruition. Plus, what happened in Las Vegas on Thursday, a lot happened on Thursday. So there was a WrestleMania kickoff show on Peacock on Thursday. Everybody who's in a match comes out, or going to be in a match, for, the title holders and that, they all come out. Okay. The end is the one that kind of went a little haywire. It's where Roman Reigns and The Rock come out, and they start doing, they're doing their thing. Well, Seth comes out, and before that, Triple H comes out, and he does this thing. Well, the Rock starts talking about the bloodline. And he puts up a family tree. And it's a pretty enormous family tree. Then that upsets Cody. Apparently. Cody comes out. And Cody basically says to The Rock, or to Roman, or both, you don't make the decision on this. I won the Royal Rumble. It's my decision to whom I choose to wrestle at WrestleMania. And then he says, I choose Roman Reigns. Which Roman Reigns kind of got frazzled. Now, whether that was acting or that was real, who knows? But now that's slated for WrestleMania 40. So somebody's got to wrestle Seth. So now they're having Elimination Chamber matches for Seth to wrestle Seth at WrestleMania 40 in Philly. So that's happening. Okay. But meanwhile, Rock and Cody kind of go at it back and forth. And then apparently Cody says too much because it offends The Rock to the point where he slaps him. And that's when all hell broke loose. It's And it looked like it. I'll be honest. It looked like the UFC with Conor McGregor and everybody else. That's what it felt like to me. The TKO said, let's do this route if this works for getting a crowd going, getting a pay-per-view, more views. It might have worked. We'll see how WrestleMania, how much bigger it is. But if you think about it, it's going to be much bigger because The Rock is going to be there, not because of a kickoff show. The Rock brings faces. The Rock brings people. It's not a kickoff show in Vegas 6 weeks earlier. So, like I said, there's contender matches for the women. The women that have already are slated for the Elimination Chamber, who have won their matches, are Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair. Mostly, the three of them, they're the baby faces. So you're likely to see more heels in the other three. Although I can see another baby face here. Now, the men have four. The men have Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and now added LA Knight. LA Knight won last night. So you got Bobby Lashley, who kind of is a bad guy, but he's a heel, but it seems like he's turning to be a baby face. It's weird because it's a weird transition, but maybe that's because they don't know how to transition him out. Randy's obviously a babyface. LA is a babyface. Drew McIntyre knows how to play both roles, and he's a heel now, and he's a pretty good heel. Although he does sound crybaby-ish sometimes, in my opinion. But Drew McIntyre, that's a good Elimination Chamber, just a 4. I can't wait for the other 2. That's going to be. And God help me if Dom somehow beats Kevin Owens. Like, Kevin Owens needs to be in this. And honestly, I think it's what's his name? I hate to say it, Mr. Prime. Why am I forgetting his? I'm forgetting his name because I don't like the kid. As a human, but as a wrestler, he's pretty good. Now the Raw and the SmackDown, like I said, there are a lot of what I just talked about. There are a lot of everything that's going on. Tonight, interesting match. Tony D'Angelo and Stax defend the NXT titles against Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. I find this interesting for the simple fact that Braun Breaker is being courted by both Raw and SmackDown. I don't think that you can't have him win and then go to Raw and SmackDown. I just don't see it. Unless he's going to go to Raw or SmackDown with Corbin as NXT champions to, wrestle against whoever. That's the only way I see that happening. But I think Braun Breaker needs to go on his own. And I'd love to see him on Raw. You put him with the Cody Rhodes, I don't want Braun Breaker, at least right now, with Roman Reigns. But now Cody Rhodes, if he wins the title is on Raw, the Universal title, just as the World Wrestling, the heavyweight title is on Raw. Well, that would be interesting. But now they can go to both and they can wrestle both. But I want Braun Breaker to be on one, and I think he's done in NXT. So I can see Tony D'Angelo and Stacks winning, but we'll see. North American champion. There's a new one. There seems to be always a new one since Dom's lost it. Oba Femi speaks for the first time after Vengeance Day. Carmelo Hayes wrestling Joe Gacy, and the energetic Brandley Reese takes on Kiana James. That's tonight. All right, so that's WWE for today. This was beautiful. I watched it last night. Jon Stewart returns to the Daily Show. Thank the Lord. Not that I didn't like Trevor Noah. Somebody needed to come in that was solid after Trevor left. I guess the Daily Show's still been on. But now Jon Stewart will be on every Monday. We won't be on Tuesday through Friday, but he'll be on every Monday. Which means I'll probably be watching every Monday. I hate to say it for the other people. They're not as, I guess the best word to say is relevant for me. Jon Stewart is. He's not as progressive, but he's definitely not as conservative. He's one of those middle guys that will call out progressive and call out conservative, which, and I'm not going to get political, but that's what I love to do. I call out both sides. Okay? If you're stupid on one side and you're stupid on the other, you're stupid. That stupid equals stupid. So I love Jon Stewart in that role. And that's better than watching the news, honestly, at 11 o'clock. Well, I know nobody's watching, that's fine, but I hope everybody survived the nor'easter this weekend. Anybody who is watching me in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, we had a pretty bad nor'easter for about 12 hours. Not a day, not 2 days. It was pretty quick. Came in midnight last night, left about 12 or 2 o'clock today. The snow started around 4, ended around 12 or 1. Saw the sun around 2 o'clock. It was amazing. So now, according to, where is this? This is the patch from Long Branch, okay? 13.2 inches in Sussex County. That's far north. The greatest amount of snowfall that happened on Tuesday. 13.2. We only had about, I want to say 3 or 4 inches outside. Sussex wasn't the only region. Randolph and Morris County reported 10 inches of snow. Newton, Ledgewood, and Whippany all measured at 6. Warren County reported 9.8 inches of snow in Blairstown. 8 inches in Stewartsville, 6.5 inches in Hackettstown. Somerset County reported 3 to 4 inches in the Greenbrook and Millstone area. Wow, big snow amounts. And then other reported 4 inches was Edison, East Brunswick, Homedale, Middletown, Freehold, Clarksburg, and Union also reported 2 inches. So it was a good snow event, no doubt. I mean, I know I slid into work mostly this morning. You know, I live in Carteret. I drive through Rahway to get into Clark, and Rahway was good. Carteret was good. It was Clark into Union County. So Union County, you might want to start figuring it out. I mean, I got to work, but like I said, I slid most of the way from when I got into Clark. So I hope everybody's safe. Everybody's good. Any of my Florida friends that are watching, I didn't take any pictures, but you'll see enough on Facebook and other places. All right. So, pitchers and catchers for tomorrow. Woo! Baseball back. Thank God. Mets and Yankees are coming back. Oh, I should say Yankees and Mets. Oh, I had this up and I didn't even see it. Oh, well. Coming back. Why is this frozen? That's not good. Something frozen. There we go. Okay, we're back. I don't know why that froze. It was weird. I was taking things down. But anyway. So, MLB pitchers and catchers back. I don't know who's coming back when. Is it Mets first, Yankees second, vice versa? I just know baseball's coming back tomorrow. Pitchers and catchers, spring training games. Thank you, Jesus. We are back. Now, there will be NFL offseason. There will be, which starts this week or next, the Combine. See, I forgot that last week. I now know it this week. The Combine's coming up. And NFL offseason free agents started, if I'm correct, March 1st, 2nd, 3rd, something like that. So we're February 13th. We're halfway through February. So we're pretty close. We're 2 weeks away from this. February is the quickest month, obviously, the least amount of days. So it will be here quicker than quick. So baseball, I thank God it's back. I could talk about baseball all day. So I'm already at an hour and 19 minutes. But thank God it's coming back. All right. So after the Super Bowl, I talked about this last week. There was the one show that comes on after the Super Bowl every year. It's one thing or another, depending on the network. This year, it was Tracker. I saw most of it, not all of it, but it looks like it's a good show. Honestly, it's a very good show, and that aired. So let's see. I'll tell you what I do plan on watching. So February 1st, so this came out. Genius MLK X on Nat Geo. Take a look. It looks good. Kings from Queens, the Run DMC story on Peacock. I'll be checking that out. The one I'll be checking out, Clone High, that on Max, that sounds good for me. Next Level Chef, not my type of show. And Farmer Wants a Wife. If you love that kind of show, go for it. On February 2nd, Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Prime Video came out, all episodes. So that looks good. I might watch that. We talked about the Grammys already on February 4th. Curb Your Enthusiasm started on February 4th. Apparently, episode 1 wasn't good. I heard a lot of bad things about it, but Curb hasn't actually ever been my thing. Below Deck on Bravo. If you're interested about more reality about people on a boat, Below Deck is for you. On Wednesday the 7th, so I missed this, so I could probably see it on Hulu. Or you can see it on Hulu. I can see it on Hulu too. But ABC, The Connors, Not Dead Yet, Abbott Elementary, all good shows. Those not dead yet. I do want to see. I haven't seen it yet, but I do want to see that. This one I don't want to see. Judge Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey's everywhere. Can we? I like the guy. I think he's hysterical. I think he's definitely even funnier on Family Feud. He's got his radio show, which he's okay. I'm not a big fan of because it's almost like he's just waking up. Another show where he's a judge. I'm done with judges on TV. I really am. Halo came out on Paramount, only 2 episodes, so that could be interesting. I don't know what this one day is on Netflix. Tokyo Vice, that's another one. Couple to Thruple on Peacock came out on Thursday, February 8th. I'm not going to get too much in detail about that. I am interested in that and do want to take a look at that. So I didn't talk about this because I didn't watch it. On February 11th, the Puppy Bowl 20 was on Animal Planet Max and Discovery Plus. If you saw the Puppy Bowl, and I saw the highlights, or at least like 1 or 2, and the score, if you heard the score of the Puppy Bowl, I'll tell it now. So, I'm going to, if you don't want to hear it, don't listen. The score was 72-69 for, that's a lot of touchdowns. And then Stupid Petrix was on TBS, True TV, Animal Planet Discovery. So Stupid Petrix is being brought back. That used to be a sting on David Letterman. And Sarah Silverman, if I'm correct, is the one hosting this. Super Bowl, then Tracker. Yeah, I talked about that. Now, I watched this last night. The first two anyway. The Neighborhood and Bob Hart's Apashola. If you've never seen Bob Hart's Apashola, I would recommend watching before you watch this season, because this season is the final season. Get to know Bob Hart's Apashola. It's a very good show. It's sad that it's leaving. I think this is his only 7th season. So they're ending. Neighborhood's pretty good. They got a nice little twist coming. I'm not going to say what, but they had a cliffhanger at the end of their first show. That was pretty interesting. Also, NCIS and NCIS Hawaii's back. I'd like to get into it, but there's other things on Monday night that I like to watch. WWE. Tuesday, new FBI's. That's what they're calling it on Paramount or CBS. The FBI's. So it's FBI at 8, FBI International at 9, and FBI Most Wanted at 10. It's on right now. The second one's already on right now. We already passed the first one. Tomorrow, on Valentine's Day, it's 2 and 3 are love. It looks like love things. The new look, I think that's a love thing on Apple TV Plus. 3 episodes. Love is Blind on Netflix, obviously a love thing. And then Resident Alien. I've yet to get into it, but I have seen the first 2 episodes. Very funny. He's a little quirky as an alien. If you like it, that's great. But it's one of those I want to watch, but it's behind other things I want to watch. Coming up this Thursday, you got the Vince Staples Show. Don't know who he is. Look him up, see if you're interested. Churchy on BET Plus. That's interesting. Far North on Sundance Now and AMC Plus. Visual on Peacock. Now, this is unfortunately why I wanted to be here on Thursday, but I'm going to have to watch it on CBS and Paramount Plus or tape it. 3 shows I want to see on Thursday night. I love these shows, and one's going into a final season. You got Young Sheldon on CBS final season starting tomorrow, Thursday. 3rd season of Ghosts starts at 8:30, and at 9 p.m., So Help Me Todd on CBS. These seem to be CBS shows. I'm just noticing this now. Mostly. Friday, and I've talked about this before, Life with Beth on Hulu, and all episodes. That'll be all episodes. The Dynasty. I'm not sure I'll watch this. It's on Friday, February 16th. The Rise of the New England Patriots on Apple TV Plus. Thanks, but no thanks. But I reported it, so any Patriots fans, there you go. There you go. SWAT, Fire Country, and Blue Bloods. That seems to be the Friday night for CBS. That's what they should do after everyone. Anyway, this Sunday, 3 big shows. The People's Choice Awards on NBC, E! Network, and Peacock. People's Choice, yeah. Nowadays, I don't know if I'd be into the People's Choice. I may not know the people on the People's Choice. The Equalizer with Queen Latifah, and American Idol on ABC, and we just found out last night. If you didn't see it, I saw it on TMZ. This is Katy Perry's last season on American Idol. If you didn't hear it, you heard it now. She said it on Jimmy Kimmel. When Jimmy Kimmel asked, did Lionel Richie and Blake know? I think it's Blake, yeah. She said, nope, they're going to be seeing it here first. Sounds like she wants to get back to going on tour. And I can't say I understand that, honestly. Now, the Tracker's on at 9 o'clock. So for people who watch the Tracker after the Super Bowl, its regular time on CBS will be 9 o'clock on CBS. We'll be there. We'll be watching it. Never Heard of the Great North. That's going to be on Fox. That could be interesting. Grimsburg. That's a cartoon, an adult cartoon on Fox at 9:30. CSI Vegas. CSI Vegas. That was off for a while. Now it's back. And 10 p.m. What Would You Do on ABC. And 11 p.m. I'm probably gonna have to watch it on Max. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. I love John Oliver. I'll watch any show that he's in. Now this unfortunately sucks because next week is Tuesday the 20th, and I'm going to have to watch this on record or DVR, whatever you want to call it. Will Trent comes back, season 2, 8 p.m. on Tuesday, February 20th. That hurts. So it's the Rookie come back at 9 o'clock and the Good Doctor at 10. Not a big fan of those. I want to love the Rookie. It's hard. But it's hard. I don't know. I like Nathan Fillion. I really do. I've seen him from when he acted on A One Life to Live. But there's something about the Rookie I just can't get into. I don't know why. In part, I think there's just too much to watch. So, the Rookie just falls back. And the Good Doctor, I've never got into. I know the kid who's acting in that role is a great actor. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I can't get into it. A few other things. So The Family Stallone. I'm going to watch that on Paramount Plus. All episodes are will be up on February 21st. That looks interesting. I've seen Sylvester Stallone on different episodes of different things, talking about different things. He's interesting. His life is interesting. Did you know that he sold his house in California to come to the East Coast, wherever he's living in the East Coast? And he sold it to none other than Adele. And she asked, if you've seen his old house, maybe you haven't. You know how there's a Rocky statue in Philadelphia? So there's a Rocky statue by his pool. She asked if he could keep it, if he would mind leaving it there for her. He did, And she took a picture of it once she, owned the property, and took a picture of it saying, "Look what Sly left here," or something like that. That's pretty cool. One other thing he talked about in an interview that I can remember, that Sylvester Stallone and family went to the Vatican City, met Pope Francis. Interesting conversations, I'm sure, and I can't wait to actually watch that. I don't know what else there is here. Messi's World Cup. I guess if you like soccer, Apple TV on February 21st. Avatar: The Last Airbender. That could be a cartoon. That might be live action on Netflix. Death in the Dorms on Hulu. Thanks, but no thanks. The Second Best Hospital in the Galaxy on Prime Video on Friday, February 23rd. Something about that intrigues me. Formula One, Drive to Survive, Netflix. If you're big into Formula One, this is good for you. Another weekend, Saturday, another award show. The SAG Awards will be on not a network you might have. It's on Netflix. If you pay for Netflix, you can get it. Everything else, the only other one I might watch down the road, Elizabeth on CBS on Thursdays at 10 o'clock. Elizabeth looks like a Monk type show. If you love Monk, and this is, I'd even say a little bit of Will Trent. Elizabeth on CBS looks like that. Take a watch. You might like it. Honestly, it looks interesting. Okay. Talk a little bit, already over 90 minutes. The Marvels came out on Disney Plus. I watched it. My take, real quick, honestly, it's not a bad movie. There's a little quirkiness in it. It's not a bad movie. I recommend it. It's definitely not the worst. Out of both DC and Marvel, I think, in my opinion, the Flash movie was the one that was the worst. This wasn't that bad. There's a little quirkiness in the middle. If you haven't seen it, obviously they travel to different worlds. There's a scene where they go to a different world. You'll see it. You'll know it. You'll see why it's quirky. But I think overall the story's good. And it's funny, if you watch the movie and you've seen all of Ms. Marvel on Disney Plus, the last scene in Ms. Marvel is relatively the first scene of this movie. So it's an intriguing movie. And the dichotomy of the relationships is very interesting. So I recommend it, and I think it's good for what's going to be part of the future of the MCU of Marvel. All right, more things to watch. Like I said from last week, Life and Beth. I talked about that. Star Wars, Bad Batch. These are all for the kids basically. Bad Batch, Young Jedi, the Web Spinners. That'll be interesting. All right, last but not least, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, the Hallmark holiday we all know and love. And also, for practicing Catholics and non-practicing, is Ash Wednesday. Well, sorry, I got something on my phone. Anyway, so Ash Wednesday is tomorrow for practicing and non-practicing Catholics. Lent starts tomorrow. Today is Fat Tuesday. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you ate what you could eat. Tomorrow is Ash Wednesday. Whether you practice or not, Lent is beginning. Pizza Fridays or Fish Stick Fridays. We're doing Fish Sticks tomorrow night. So we're trying to, as a family, do what normal Catholic families do. So that's that. And then Valentine's Day, like I said, I'm spending it with Beth. I hope everybody else spends it with their significant others. And next week we will be less football and more baseball, and probably a little bit of basketball and wrestling. I wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day, and hope you all have a good week. Hopefully there's things to talk about next week. I'm sure there will be, and hopefully more people who will be able to watch me. This is a little longer than I usually go, but this was a lot to talk about. And if you if you like what you see, like you hear, yes, what's next? That's a great question. What's next? Hope you all have a good week. Talk to you later. Peace out.